build this battery pack to put in a kid's four-wheeler. And so when I'm doing spot welding, um, one, what I have here is a pack that's these cell spacers go together. They're kind of like Legos almost, and they hold the cells in place. And then this is called 2P nickel strip, and I'll put this down and then double it up, and then I leave more on the end so you can fold it over for the tabs to solder to the main connection. So I'll show you a little bit of spot welding and we will go from there. Alrighty. Here we go. Get it oriented where I want it. There we go. It's sticking good. You just want to make sure you've got your spot welder set. I've got mine set on 40 with 8 poles. And so after you do this for a little while, there's a capacitor inside the spot welder, so you actually want to give it a little bit of a break, and so it'll get the current back up after each round. But as you can see, these are on pretty well. And then I just bend these tabs over so I can solder to them, and then I'll spot weld the dual layers of the tabs. So I've got everything labeled here. Like I said, I've got the battery covered in Katon tape just to keep from arcing anything. So I always start with the negative, and I'm going to run my wires this way. The reason I do that is because you always need more on the negative side rather than the positive side, because the battery management system actually just hooks to the negative side. Um, so here we go. And this is 10 copper wire. I don't recommend using regular copper wire. I mean, you have to have flux to make it stick, and it's just kind of a pain in the tail. It's worth paying a little bit extra for 10 copper wire. So, and then this little device here is called a helping hands, and it just makes it easier for me to hold it on there. So when you're soldering, you really want to heat this up and get it on there, and then add your solder to it. So yeah, so you just add your solder on here. And these spools, these auto spools, are kind of handy because you can just kind of pull it out. And usually more is less on this. Or less is more. Let's see if it sticks there. You got to make sure you get the nickel hot enough, otherwise it has a hard time sticking to that nickel strip. So that's why I have this directly on the wire. And it's a little harder on this, the heavier wire that you're using for your main leads. The thinner wire is easier. So there you go. Get that on there. Smooth it out a little bit. And then I have a little sponge here, and I just usually take like an old bottle of water or something that I seem to leave some around, and it just helps clean the tip of your iron, keep it smooth. So let's see. So yeah, we've got a solid connection there. Okay. So like I said, from the black, you go next to the next one, and it starts to get easier on these. Um, they're so much smaller, so it gets easier. So she's my little helping hand there. Yeah, if I had three hands, it'd be great for this. You don't need a lot of solder on these because these wires are so small. Alright. So I'm gonna grab my next wire. And I actually kind of messed up there just a little bit. What I did, if you see, I got that thing at an angle. Um, and you kind of want them headed more towards the center. Um, there we go. So they just kind of channel right down the middle of that barley paper there. Not quite. Move it more to the center. Hold it down with a soldering iron. There we go. And just kind of brush it a little bit. All right, so next one is going to be your 12-volt wire. And one thing you want to make sure is you're kind of not giving that a chance to get tangled up. Either you end up with this weird kind of rat's nest at the end if you don't do that. So You notice you've got the two parallel strips. It really does not matter which one you attach to. They're the same voltage, so whichever's easiest is kind of the one I go with. Oh, there you go. Now I'm getting my groove down. That was a lot faster. And the better you get that set and the flatter it is, the easier it is. That's why that last one before last was so fast, is I just had it kind of on there perfect. So on this one, I'm gonna have to put the big wire on there as well. So it will be a little harder. I'm gonna get the big wire on first, and then it's not quite holding that very well, so maybe a little easier just to solder that to the big wire after. And these main wires I'm using are a high heat. Ooh, see me just arc across there? That's why you have to be careful. They're a high heat silicone wire, and I don't know why they don't put these on the BMS wires. They should. Well, I do know why, because it's cheaper. But so now I can just take this little wire and stick it down in there. Tedious stuff. It's one of those times when tiny hands help. There we go. Just touch this up a little bit. Sure we got a good. Oh, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Actually, just do the smaller wire by itself with the helping hand here. One of the reasons I'm having a problem is I'm running out of reach here. Let's see if I can grab it with this one. Trick here, you can put a little bit of solder on the end there and just make that a little easier if need be. But there we go. So that's how you solder the leads of the BMS and the main wires onto a battery pack.